Before I begin, there are two things I want to mention. The first is that this video is made in collaboration with Urban Man. Check out his video on transit events in Asia after this one. The second one is regarding Queenslink. Currently, Queenslink has been awarded $400,000 in order to study the reactivation of the Rockaway Beach branch. However, in order to receive that $400,000, Queenslink needs $100,000 by early March. If you can, please consider donating a few dollars at queenslink.org. Every dollar is appreciated. Now, back to the video. Happy New Year to the first quarter checkpoint of the 21st century. We are now officially closer to 2050 than the year 2000. And it feels like an entire lifetime worth of transit news has happened since then. 110 new metro systems have been constructed since the year 2000. More cities around the world are beginning to experiment with new urbanist policies. And decades-long proposals were finally realized and open to the public. With these new developments over the past 25 years, who knows what the next 25 years will bring? So in this video, we will start that conversation by talking about the many transit events that will happen in 2025. Before we begin, a disclaimer that with everything going on in the world, infrastructure project completion dates are extremely subject to change. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Also, because estimated completion dates are extremely vague, I grouped the projects I am talking about into two categories. Projects that will happen earlier in 2025 and projects that will happen later in 2025. With that being said, let's begin. In January, construction on the Kalahari Railway will begin. Spanning 1,500 kilometers or 900 miles, this rail link will connect Namibia with Botswana. Specifically, Botswana's coalfields with the Namibian port city of Walvis Bay. This will increase freight capacity and allow landlocked countries like Botswana to access seaports to export their goods. Rome will extend Line C to Calassio during this time. Currently, Line C only connects to Line A, which means if riders have to continue their trip, they have to transfer to Line A, which is overcrowded as it sees 450,000 riders daily. But the Line C extension will allow Line C commuters to access Line B, which will help decongest Line A. Madrid will open a Line 3 extension to El Cacer. This will open a second connection to Metro Sur, a 25-mile loop line connecting the southwest suburbs of Madrid. Previously, Metro Sur was only accessible to Line 10, which meant Madrid-bound riders had to backtrack to Puerta del Sol on the west side of the loop. But with this extension, a new connection opened on the east side of the loop, which will save time into Madrid. Philadelphia will reopen Franklin Square on the Patco Speed Line. Originally closed in 1979 due to low ridership, the area around the closed station has since been renovated and has seen growth. This is why there were multiple efforts since the late 2000s to study the reopening of the station. At first, the project was pushed back due to a lack of funds. But in 2018, the reopening of Franklin Square was announced. Construction started in 2021 and is now scheduled to be completed in early 2025. In Sweden, construction on the East Link high-speed rail project will begin. This project will connect the communities between Linköping and Järna, with trains going at 155 miles per hour, or 250 kilometers per hour, potentially shortening the current 1.5-hour rail journey into a sub-hour zip between the two communities. The East Line would also decongest one of the most traveled rail corridors in Sweden. This project has an estimated time frame of 8 to 10 years, and will be operational by 2035, hopefully. Heading into the transit events happening later in 2025, let's start in Canada. In Montreal, the highly anticipated REM West extension will open to Deux Montagnes and Anse à la Omaha. This will nearly triple the length of the existing REM and bring high-quality rail access to the western suburbs of Montreal, which is currently a transit desert. In Los Angeles, Phase 1 of the D-Line extension will finally open. This extension marks a new era, as this is the first subway extension LA opened since the year 2000. This was because of a draconian measure that prohibited LA Metro from spending any more money on subways, which is why most of the LA Metro network is light rail. But since then, that draconian measure was repealed, and despite numerous lawsuits waged on this project, it is nice to see that one of the busiest commercial corridors of LA is being served by rail transit. In New Jersey, the first track of the new Portal Bridge will be opened, which will heavily boost reliability for not only New Jersey Transit, but the entire Northeast Corridor. The current Portal Bridge, which dates back to 1910, is the busiest train bridge in the Western Hemisphere, carrying somewhere between 150,000 to 200,000 people daily. It is also one of the biggest choke points, as because it is a swing bridge, whenever there is maritime traffic, traffic has to stop to allow the bridge to open. If that isn't bad enough, when the bridge needs to close to resume service, sometimes the bridge doesn't close correctly, which means even more delays. The new Portal Bridge solves that problem by being 50 feet tall, which allows maritime traffic to pass without the bridge needing to open. This means no delays from the bridge having to open. Hopefully, when the first track of the Portal Bridge opens, it will finally put an end to the decades-long choke point of the old Portal Bridge. Dallas will open its first circumferential line, the Silver Line. Stretching 26 miles, the line will connect the northern Dallas suburbs. Planning for the line began in 1983, though construction on the line only began in 2019. Since then, Dallas has exploded in population, so hopefully this train line is able to decongest the roadways. Our final two events are in Chicago. Firstly, Phase 1 of the Red-Purple Modernization Program will be completed. The project aims to rebuild the North Side Main Line, which at 100 years old is in desperate need of renovation. Phase 1 of the Red-Purple Modernization Program includes the Belmont Flyover, and rebuilding all of the Red Line between Wilson and Bryn Mawr. With the completion of Phase 1 of the Red-Purple Modernization Program, this will mean faster service and lower maintenance costs, as the newer structures need less maintenance than the old structures. Also in Chicago, the Red Line extension will finally begin construction. This project dates back to the 1960s, when I-57 and I-94 south of 95th was built with a wide median for future mass transit. Thankfully, the current plan for the Red Line extension does not include median stations, and instead be located on the Union Pacific Corridor's right-of-way. That was the right call, as the Union Pacific Corridor is located in a transit desert, with the nearest metro connection being 30 minutes away. With this extension, far Southside riders can now have rapid transit access, saving time into the loop. And with that being said, this marks the end of this video. Just like 2024, 2025 is going to be an eventful year for transit. Now, I only mentioned transit events in North America, Africa, and Europe. If you want transit events for Asia, please check out Urban Man's video on that topic. Also, if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.